Won't you please come join me for some midnight therapy? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I'm your host, Cat Matthews. What a crazy turn of events. I can't even keep up with it. I intended on making an episode for the past 3 days, but things kept changing. And then I had to rewrite the script and update my, as I call it, the Biden prompter, which is a whiteboard I look at, like a white dry erase board. I had to keep changing it because things keep happening. Are we at war? I don't know, but I know you want to tune in and get my take on it. You loyal 60, I know you're interested. But we're back. This should air on Tuesday night if all goes well. I don't know what time, but hopefully Tuesday, which is a nice surprise. A nice Tuesday surprise after a long day of work. Come home, put on the Midnight Therapy, see if we're going to war, gloom and doom, and then tomorrow's hump day. You're almost through the week. Not bad. I'll try to keep this quick because if the war and all these bombs and these conflicts wasn't enough, we're also in a major heat wave here in Northeast PA, and I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Can you see? Can you smell? I'm a sweater. Everybody knows that. Anybody around me, I got the gene. My father has the gene. His uncle had the gene. It skips a few people, but I have it. So if you're eating like a hot Italian sausage meal, like I don't know, like say a boar bolognese, a spicy boar bolognese, or some supersada or anything like that, just eating it will cause terrible sweating. In a way that the waitress might come over and say, "Are you okay? Do you need me to call somebody?" And you have a mouthful of bolognese. You go, "I'm fine." You got to do that your whole life, and you wear a white shirt, you sweat through it. It's not a good look. But I'm sweating down here because of war and also because it's 95. That's Florida weather, but none of the perks of Florida up here. That's the only issue. So are we at war? Let's cut right to the chase. And then I will do some life recaps, current events recaps that don't involve World War III. But we have to address the elephant in the room. Not looking good, and everything is uncertain. That's the theme of today's episode. That's the theme of today. That's the theme of global politics. Uncertain. We are in odd times, to say the least. Let's just get to it. Trump bombed Iran. We knew this was an option when Israel launched the strike, which I covered last episode. We knew that Israel was turning to us for help. They got some of the nuclear facilities in Iran. Israel was able to take out, but they couldn't take them all out. Some of them were too deep, and they needed machinery, aka bombs and planes, that only the United States of America possesses. So they came to us for help, and Trump was pondering the idea of it. And he goes, "I'm going to give it a couple weeks," and then within seconds, secretly just decided, "Yeah, we're going to do it," and caught everybody off guard. This negotiation was the fastest action I've ever saw. It was a surprise, I'll give you that. Surprised a lot of people. But the most surprising part to me, as a weird person, that makes social commentary and looks at things in an odd way and, sees life a little different than most, is we all found out about this surprise bombing through a Truth Social post. Like we found out from social media, like a tweet. Trump doesn't use Twitter or X. He uses his own, and then they screenshot the Truth Social and put it on all the real social medias. If you ever noticed, like you will see, because Trump got banned on these, and like he'll never go back. He posts on Truth Social, they screenshot it, and then they post that on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. So it's funny. It's Truth Social, but it's not. But that's how everybody found out. Was like a social media status update, which is odd. That's unprecedented as well. These are the new times. You think you find recipes on social media or fart videos. You're also going to find out who and when and why we bomb certain people now. Very interesting. Some are calling this attack unconstitutional. I looked into it. It's not the case. He was in his rights as president, within his power to do what he did. This has happened before. Many presidents have done this. It wasn't a declaration of war. People are getting that wrong. You have to go to Congress for that, of course, but you don't need to talk to Congress to do what he did. Again, I'm not a constitutional scholar, but a little quick chat GPT or Google search or whatever you use, you'll find out that many presidents have done similar, comparable actions before. You talk to the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the war room, they all want to go to war. You know how that goes. You know how that goes. But yeah, Trump made that decision and it happened. And it has split Trump supporters, to be honest. I see a lot of Trump supporters of Republicans that are torn on this issue. Again, Trump was supposed to be the anti war candidate, the anti war president. This doesn't look great. But I think I understand it. You know, I think the backlash from the Republicans are, or anyone rather, the only reason I say Republicans is the left hates, or the majority of the left hates everything Trump does. And the Republicans usually like most of what Trump does. But this issue, they don't really like what Trump did. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up. The left hates everything Trump did. If Trump gave them a free ice cream, they'd hate it. They'd go, I don't even like chocolate. That's racist. But anyways, the Republicans are upset because they don't want to see a repeat of the weapons of mass destruction narrative that we got from Bush. And, you know, we don't want Iran to become the next Iraq. We don't need another boogeyman. You know, we saw this movie before. And you're kind of, you know, seeing the exact same playbook come undone here. Like, they have nukes. We know they have nukes. They're gonna make them and they're gonna bomb you with them. Like, oh, we don't want that. Like, we don't. I don't know if we're gonna fall for that again. Now, is Iran like this hopeless, innocent nation that was just minding their own business? No, no. The number one threat to us and Israel. That's pretty much well established. Even Kamala Harris, remember her? Her name was very prevalent a few months back. She ran for president. She was Joe Biden's vice president. When she was being interviewed during the campaign, she said that
Iran
cannot have a nuclear bomb, and she would do everything in her power to make sure that they didn't. You know, and that's Kamala Harris, the most progressive candidate we have seen to date run for the office of president. So I don't want people to be like, oh no, this is crazy. We've been getting Iran ready to be the new boogeyman for a long time now. Now, the only problem is, will this split the MAGA party in two? The answer is to be determined. We do not know. Israel ran to us for help. Who will Iran run to now? That's the question. It's going to be China, Russia, who knows? And what's the retaliation going to look like? They don't seem to be backing down, you know? They don't seem to be backing down. They just seem to be more fueled. There's an old saying, don't wrestle with pigs, because when you wrestle with pigs, you both get dirty, but the pig likes it. Iran loves the idea of war and drawing us into it. So they're probably pumped, you know? They're probably pumped about this. Not, you know, that their nuclear facilities are destroyed, but that we took the bait, in other words. Maybe they're fully destroyed. That is unknown yet. So let's go over what happened. We have these bombs called bunker busters. And I will give the United States credit. They are great with the branding and the names. Like a bunker buster sounds right out of like an old video game. It's kind of fun. They weigh 30,000 pounds each, and there are only about 30 of these in existence in the entire world. There's only one plane that can carry said bomb, and it's the B-2 bomber that we obviously own. And that's the only plane that could carry them. They could carry two of them at a time. Israel wanted us to use those to hit the last nuclear sites that may be creating the uranium, which may be creating the nukes or being used in the nukes. We don't know. We know that's they have nuclear facilities, and we knew that for the last 25 years. The big question is, were they going to use that enriched uranium to make a nuke? I don't know. That's for somebody more qualified to tell you. I'm just a cowboy in a basement. But either way, this one nuclear facility in particular was about 90 kilometers underground. Um, so Israel had nothing that could take that out, and they already poked the bear and attacked. So they were scared, I assume, and they turned to us for help. And because we're allies with Israel and many other reasons, we helped them by using the only weapon possible to get 90 feet down. And that happens to be not one, but two bunker busters. One to bust 60 feet down, because that's what a bunker buster bomb will do. And then another to fully blow up the nuclear facility. You need two to get that extra feet down. So I think we said 3 to 6 planes. We don't know. 2 bombs on each plane. Let's hope they hit. Those are pretty good odds. They had to hit each of those sites. There was 3 sites left, I believe. Had to hit each of them perfectly twice. It looks pretty flat over there. Looks like there's nothing over there now. So to be determined if this really was a successful mission. Trump said it was, but that's a Truth Social post. So again, we don't really know. The question is, why can't Iran have nukes? This is what everyone's asking. Like, why is this such a big issue? And there's a really good case of why they shouldn't have nukes. You understand that? Like, they are probably not going to use them for good, but they most certainly are going to use them. So you could decide who they're going to use them on. And it's probably most certainly Israel or us or both. So I don't know if that is a good enough sell of why they shouldn't be allowed to have nukes. Some people would argue that's none of our business. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I'm not the president. I'm just a cowboy in the basement talking about my, spur of the moment opinion on the matter while I'm sweating in my basement. Um, so we know that Iran hates Israel. We know that Trump didn't waste any time defending Israel, pretty hasty with his attack there. There's a lot of criticism to Trump, and there's a lot of confusion going on in the party. For example, Tulsi Gabbard, who is, I believe, the director of national intelligence. Trump was being interviewed, and they said that there was no evidence that Iran was building nukes, and Trump goes, "That's wrong. There is." And they said, "Well, your intelligence, the American intelligence, said there wasn't." He goes, "Who said that?" And they said, "Well, Tulsi Gabbard. You appointed her." And he goes, "Well, she's wrong." That's not good. Someone's lying. It's up for speculation of who, but then you look at the Tucker Carlson Ted Cruz thing. Ted Cruz is a senator, ran for president once or twice, maybe more. Got in a heated debate on a podcast, I believe, because Tucker got kicked off of Fox News. He has his own independent media now. It's pretty much a podcast. It's pretty much this show. And Tucker kind of schooled Ted Cruz, who is a senator. Ted Cruz didn't even know how many people lived in Iran, for example. So it seems like there's some splits and ripples going on in the Trump party, or the MAGA party, I should say. But I don't know. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. But I'll tell you what happened. So then this happens. And then we're like, oh, Iran's totally going to retaliate. And then little to no time they do. They bomb a U.S. embassy in Qatar. Now, you may remember Qatar, the royal family or whatever they're called. I'm forgetting. Gifted Trump the jet, the infamous jet, right? The new Air Force One, the Qatar jet. That's this nation, and we had an embassy there. We have embassies everywhere. And they got bombed by Iran. Nobody got hurt. Then immediately Trump goes back on Truth Social and says that's it. Now there's peace. I organized a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. And the 12-day war, which he coined the phrase, is over. And as of this morning, now it's back on. They can't help but fire missiles at each other, Israel and Iran. So this is where it gets funny. This is where Trump may be smarter than we think. Trump does a great interview today, and you can say what you want, love him, hate him, policy, whatever, his personal life. You can have all these opinions, but to hear what he said to the reporter today was so just iconic, in my opinion. He really did break the barriers of what it means to be a politician. There's no more formalities anymore. There's no more manners or couth or etiquette. This guy just says it like it is, and it sounds like something I would say. Like that's why I'm like, wow. They asked him what's going on. Why are the bombs still going off? I thought you had a ceasefire. He goes, Israel and Iran don't know what the fuck they're doing. And he said this frustrated with gumption and passion and then walked off like a boss. Like he's mad. Like he's genuinely mad. You can't really fake that. I mean, if you fake an F bomb, you can always tell when it's fake. I know a real F bomb when I hear one because I speak that way. It comes off very casually. And I get reprimanded for it a lot. But whether I'm at dinner or I'm at a Denny's or something, like, hey, calm down. But he said it, and he's the president of the United States talking about World War III. I think that's a great quote for the history books. It's very funny. He's unhinged. He's pissed. And to me, I see this as the ultimate chess move, which is what he's always playing 4D chess. This is going to be the double cross. He's gonna have plausible deniability. He's gonna say, Israel, I helped you. I gave you the bunker busters, which sounds funny to say also. But he's gonna say, I gave you those bunker busters and you still couldn't stop. You couldn't help yourself. I'm done. The United States is no longer supporting this. You understand? And he will turn on Israel and Iran. And he's gonna leave Israel to dry, possibly. If he turns his back on Israel, this is gonna be crazy. Then what will people say? You never know. He really does leave you guessing. But this could be him wiping his hands clean of the whole situation. All right, the U.S. is not involved anymore. We tried to help. You guys couldn't stop. Good luck. Hash it out. That's interesting. I don't know if anyone's seeing it that way. That's the way I'm seeing it. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. Everything changes every second. While I'm filming this podcast, 5 other things could have happened. So I don't know. And, I can only upload so fast. Sorry, I can't keep up with the ever-changing news cycle. But either way, this could be the end of the current American empire or the beginning of a brand new American empire. And I don't know what is better or worse, but I do think this is coming. Change is in the air. Can you smell it? I'm telling you, tides have shifted. Things are getting crazy. So now with that being said, now that you're fully recapped on the end of the world, you better have your bug out bag. I'm going to talk to you about a few lighthearted current events that don't involve bombs for once, which is nice. Bush Light Lime is out, and I'm a big fan. I just want to say that. That's one of the greatest things produced in a long time. I obviously love Bush Light. But the Bush Light Lime is the best of the flavored beers. Like the apple's too sweet. The peach is okay, but you can't really drink them too much. But the lime, you could kick them back all day and it still tastes like beer, but just has a little kick of lime and it's perfect for the summer. If you'd like to endorse this podcast, Bush, especially Bush Light Lime, I would be very happy. For the thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be wearing the Bush hat. Yeah. This weekend, I did a lot of acting out different characters wearing that Bush Light hat, the Bush Light Lime hat. You had to be there. It was very funny. But no, we love Bush Light Lime. Our baby is on the way any week now, so there may be a little break in the podcast schedule because I'll be in the hospital wearing a nurse's outfit waiting to deliver a child. It's going to be hard to squeeze a pod in there. But I'll let you know, keep you posted when that happens. But any week now, to be honest, we're getting towards the end. I've been doing a lot of house projects, anticipating this baby's arrival, and I've been burnt out with house projects, but they're all finally done. It's nice to go to Home Depot and actually buy lumber and tools and materials rather than just Halloween decorations. I feel like a real blue collar man now. It's very interesting. I used to just go there and buy animatronics, but now I'm like, I'm buying brad nailers and I'm buying screws and bolts and timber and molding, and it's, I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the guys. Feels nice to be a jack of all trades and be busy every minute of every day. It's nice. You don't have to think about anything, which is nice. Um, that's pretty much it for me. I got a new vehicle also. This is a surprise. I'm going to do another video on my two old vehicles. One's going to its final resting place, the junkyard. We're going to have to talk about it. I wrote a lot of songs about that vehicle, and I had it since I was 16 years old. So it's sad to see it go. Almost 10 years I had that vehicle, a lot of memories in that vehicle, but it is past the point of return, I believe. So I do think it has to go to out to pasture, out to the junkyard. I'm going to scrap it. The other one, the current vehicle that I had, the same vehicle, but just bigger and better and cooler, but still old, is also having some problems. It's not terminal. This isn't the junkyard, but it needs more problems than I think I could keep up with. So I had to go get a new car to be reliable and bite the bullet and have a payment, which I never want, which nobody wants, but it's a kind of part of life. We're going to touch on that next week once I do the car episode. I'm going to show you my car going away to its final resting place. Rip the monster Merc. In current events in the news, besides me, let's stop talking about me too much. I was out shopping and I had this question I wanted to ask everybody in the audience real quick, because me and Christy got in a heated debate over this. Like Q-tips, whatever they're called, you know them. What are they used for? If not to clean your ears, which is what everyone uses them for as far as I know, but it says do not stick them in your ear. And like doctors will tell you not to do that. But if it's not that, what are they used for then? What do you use a Q-tip for? I don't understand. That's like the one thing that people use for the wrong reason then. I don't know why you can't stick it in your ear. But I feel like that's all they're used for. If you could think of anything else, let me know. Besides like an arts and crafts project, what else are they used for besides cleaning out the wax out of your earlobe? Anyways, we're at the liquor store. We wanted to buy a bottle of Tito's, and there was such a scam. I always have to call it a scam. They saran wrapped two Tito's bottles together and put a barcode on it, and they said you have to buy two. We're like, oh, no, we just want one, We're just having a small party. We're bringing a bottle over as a form of hospitality, of a kind gesture. And they're like, no, Tito's did that. Like, we could only sell two bottles at a time. What's going on? Like, in what world can you just do that? I don't need, what increment is that? You need to buy two bottles of vodka at once. Now, anything else, they would say, oh, drugs are bad and there's addiction. But alcohol, it's like, why don't you buy more alcohol? You'll drink it. And just do it. That's why all these people are obese. They're like, why not just buy the, big box of cereal? We only have the big box. Do you have the small box? No, just a big. The double stuffed Keeblers, that's another one. Why do they only have the double stuff? Because there's no option. They want you to just buy the double stuff. They want you to pay more and pay the price later more by being obese. But yeah, two Tito's together, a tale of two Tito's. I thought that was so odd. You have to buy double vodka, and that was all they had in the store. There was nobody ever has an answer. You ask them, they look at you. People are so confused when you ask a question anymore. I'm like, why is this like this? The girl goes, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm like, oh, relax. I was just wondering. Could we split it? Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think we could. Okay, we'll just buy the two. Don't worry. We'll just buy the two. It's okay. Sorry I asked. So that was annoying. Bonnie Blue, I bring her up a lot. She's the woman that had, intimate relations with 1,000 men and then up the ante in her petting zoo stunt to have intimate relations with 2,000 men in one day to break the record, strive for ambitious goals. That's never give up. And she did it, and she got banned from OnlyFans for extreme content. How crazy is that? If you get banned from OnlyFans, that means it's you're doing a little too much. That crossed the line, I assume. Just wanted to let you all know that. There's this man, and I hate to talk negative. I would never complain or say anything less than positive. But his name is Brendan Abernathy, and you probably saw him, a little flash in the pan video, multiple videos, same subject but different angles. This man, he has like a bandana and he's playing guitar in a parking lot and he's singing a song that's, I'm going to be honest, just not that great. I did my research. This man had music out for a while and this song was out, but he wanted to do a promotion for this song. So he got, it was like staged, it was planned. Maybe the people were paid, who knows? There was people in a parking lot in a circle around him with their flash on their phone filming it. And he got multiple angles of the same thing going on. And he's kind of singing his song. He's like in and out. He doesn't know the key. He doesn't know the words. He stops. He's talking to the crowd. The crowd's talking to him. He's in different keys. He's singing at different volumes, different attitudes. But then this one time, he's like on his tippy toes screaming the song, and it's just dead silent. And then that kind of clip of the video went sort of viral. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is it perplexed me that I think he may have cracked a new code in promotion because it was so bad and there was so much hate and it was so cringy and it was such rage bait that it actually made it work. And I think he did it on purpose. I really don't think this was accidental. I think everything about the video was planned in a way that everybody got mad at it. The more simple-minded people that don't really care shared it because he sounded kind of bad. Musicians shared it because they were mad, like, oh my God, this guy's viral. Can you believe that? And then the trolls just shared it, because it's a cringy video. I get it. He has embraced that it was cringy. A lot of people are making fun of it, making parodies of it, and he's embracing it. And he's going to probably get a good record deal and be famous. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's just like Hawk Tuah. He kind of caught the Hawk Tuah lightning in a bottle with a forced rage bait cringe video. And I think he's the first to do it with music. So I think, is he as an artist or the song notable enough for me to bring up to say his talent got him here? No, but I do think his promotion method is pretty ingenious. So I'll give you that, Brendan. But I don't know. That's what we have to look forward to, like cringe promotions now that are so bad, because hate is sometimes more powerful than love, especially on social media. So people love sharing stuff they hate. They very rarely share stuff they love, especially if it's their friends that they know. Like I get little to no support. I drop a song, I get like 3 shares. But then like Post Malone and Jelly Roll write a song that's like cold beer in a pickup, cold beer in a pickup, cold beer in a pickup in a dirt road and a t-shirt. And they share it. Everyone shares it. Oh my God, I'm so in love. And they share it. And I'm like, I have to look at that and get angry and sad and rethink my life choices. But then meanwhile, I put a song out with a shoestring budget. I got like 2 shares. You know what I'm saying? So this guy to stage such a cringy thing and to go that viral, good for you, dude. I'm not knocking you. I'm knocking the song a little, but that's just me being a critic. But your promotion, what very interesting. I think it opened a whole new door of promotion. It's like rage bait cringe. That's what I'm going to call it. It's working, and I will ponder it and think how I could be cringy, maybe, or cringier than I am. This guy got a lot of hate, this Brendan Abernathy. Even Meat Canyon made a parody of him, which if you know Meat Canyon, he makes disturbing animations, and I'm a big fan of him. And me and my best buddy Eric have Very Barely. So if you ever listen, Papa Meat, we would love to collab. We have an adult animated series as well, and we love your work. But yeah, it's pretty bad if he does it. But moving on, speaking of hate and cringe and anger, Call Her Daddy. It is a very popular female podcast. It's up there. Joe Rogan's best podcast in the world. Mostly men listen to Joe Rogan, but as far as the female audience goes, they love Call Her Daddy. And as far as I know, she started off just talking about like sex and girl stuff and hookups and why men suck. And that's kind of what I, gathered. Rogan, they're talking about the mysteries of the universe and philosophies, and he has doctors on and physicists, and they're talking about stoner talk and Bigfoot and the Roman Empire and stuff. And then on there, it's like, one time I hooked up with a guy and he had a Garfield tattoo on his spleen. Well, Garfield was like a cat, right? Yeah. It's like that, as far from what I gathered. But then during the election, Kamala Harris was trying to combat with, you know, the right, having a large male audience listening to podcasts. So she kind of went on this Call Her Daddy podcast, and that was how she was going to get her voice out to the world, was to go on the Call Her Daddy podcast. Kamala Harris. And they were real serious and talking about, they're trying to be serious. Like, what color curtains would you put up in the White House? Not really, but it's not really. Let's just be honest. I don't know. I don't think she's, I don't know if she ever aspired to interview Kamala Harris or any presidential candidate. I think the podcast was more of a lighthearted, fun podcast, like a reality TV vibe. But anywho, she has a documentary coming out now about how impactful her podcast is and how it was a voice for women and empowerment. And when I watched that ad, the advertisement for this Call Her Daddy podcast Netflix documentary with the dramatic music, and it was like she's Harriet Tubman or MLK, like what she did for society. It filled me with so much anger and sadness. I almost took like a heart attack. I mean this. It almost killed me. The confusion. I was like, what? What? But I just want to point out that's kind of where we are. We're in the cringe world. We're in cringe land. And we're about to not even be able to say something is cringy because everything will be cringy soon to some extent. And everything is. Everything's a little off-putting, if you noticed. Yeah. Last bit of news. Elon Musk, I guess he's friends with Trump again. They kind of made up a bit. But he is, he had this Starship explosion, which was like the test for the 2026 Mars mission, and it exploded really bad, and it wasn't supposed to. He called it an anomaly, but Starship did explode, and I think it's going to set back that Mars mission a bit. So to you rich people that think you're going to just leave this cringe-filled world, it doesn't look like that's even going to happen. It's not going to happen as quick as you'd like it to. There's no escape. You can't escape Bonnie Blue. You can't escape Call Her Daddy. You can't escape these Truth Social war updates. Just like I can't escape a car payment. You're here. You're stuck here. You better get comfortable. You can't just go to Mars. I don't care how rich you are. Not without a couple problems. I hope this leads to peace. And I hope if there is a new American empire, that we kind of stop it with the Bonnie Blue and the Call Her Daddy Nobel Peace Prize stuff. More Bush Light Lime, more minding our own business, more freedom, more do what you want, just don't bother me vibes. Less Bonnie Blue. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit less of that. A little less Hawk Tuah. Well, a little less Hawk Tuah girl. That girl. Hawk Tuah is fine. But yes, uncertain times. I don't know what's going to happen. Want to give you a little recap there. I hope that was sufficient. I'll be back next week. Who knows what day? Could be one of the 7. This episode is brought to you in part by Jack's Pub and Eatery and Three Saints Barbershop, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Mike the Barber has lots of opinions on this. We're going to get him back on soon. Mike the Barber Part 3. Hope you're ready I'm going to be changing up the intro to the show soon and hopefully a new surprise to the set. So stay tuned. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, subscribe. If you're not listening to this and you are listening to Fox News, you're doing yourself a disservice. Put this on at night if you want to know what's going on. Put this on for your grandmother on loop if you want her third eye to open. Stay curious, my friends. Good night.